This is it. You know that, don't you? This is it. I've never had this before. And I almost could break out into tears. But I won't do that. But the stakes are very high, folks. This is more than just about Baron Hill. What you're doing is affecting the direction of the country and where it's going to go. This has been a pretty nasty campaign, and the reason why is because they know they can't stand on their own two legs and say what they have done for this country for the last 6 years. And that's what this is all about. This is about them retaining power and doing the same things they've been doing to the American people for the last 6 years, which means nothing but a mess in Washington, D.C.
Amen.
They don't want to talk about how we're bogged down in Iraq, and they have no solution of how to get out of there. George Bush just says stay the course, and that's no solution at all, and we all know that. And the only way it's going to change is if we get Democrats back in control. They give us an honorable exit out of Iraq. This budget deficit we've got is now at $9 trillion. The second largest expenditure of the federal government is interest on that debt, second only to military spending. And this Republican Congress doesn't want to do anything about it. Dick Cheney has said that deficits don't matter. Well, deficits do matter because we're pushing this debt on you all. You're going to have to be responsible for it. And this Republican Congress wants to do nothing about it at all. And we got to change that. You know, it was the Democrats under Bill Clinton who gave us surpluses. So we've done it once before. Nasty campaign because they have doing nothing about health care. 45 million Americans don't have health care in this country. And this Republican Congress is doing nothing about it. We get control, we're going to do something about health care in this country, folks.
Yeah.
You know why they don't want to do anything about health care?
So they don't care about people.
They don't care about people. They care about the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, and the HMOs who are making record profits under this present system. WellPoint, CEO in Indianapolis, Indiana, an HMO up there made $24 million this year. He wants to keep that $24 million. And we want to make sure that health care is affordable to all Americans. And that's what this election is all about. Karen Stone and her husband are at the forefront in making sure that we change America as it relates to health care. We need to do something about it. I'm proud of what she's doing. Energy independence. Energy independence. Do you think for a moment that these characters in the White House want to do anything about getting off our dependency upon foreign oil? No. They're beholden to the oil companies. You know what their solution is? The Republican Congress actually passed a tax cut for the oil companies when we were paying $3 a gallon for gasoline, and they were making record profits. You put Democrats in control and we'll get away from our dependency upon foreign oil. Biodiesel, ethanol, hybrid cars, wind, and we'll also clean up the atmosphere and contribute to solving the solution to global warming in this country. This president says is not being... And of course there's all these scandals that are going on in Washington, D.C.
Change that too.
We're going to change that. You're exactly right. This Republican Congress is doing nothing about investigating their own. Remember Duke Cunningham?
Yeah.
Remember that guy's in jail now for taking bribes. How many times did Congress ask any questions from Duke Cunningham about his what he was doing? Not once. Tom DeLay, remember old Tommy? How many times did we ask questions from him?
None.
Actually, we asked several questions from him. The Republican chairman of the Ethics Committee actually brought him in and interrogated him. And you know what they did to that chairman?
Fired him.
They fired him. They got rid of him. Because they don't want their own being investigated. Bob Ney, ever heard of him in Ohio? How about Mark Foley? They asked no questions. You know what? When Bill Clinton was president of the United States, this Republican Congress subpoenaed the people in the Clinton administration over 1,000 times. Do you know how many questions and the subpoenas they've served the Bush administration? Zero. They are not asking any questions about what's going on with this administration. They're not asking any questions about this war in Iraq. They're not asking any questions about how they're spending money on the reconstruction in Iraq. We already know that $3 billion is missing. So you want to know why they're scared to death that we're going to lose this seat? Because if we win this seat, we're probably going to get the majority back.
Yeah.
And that's why the stakes are so high. And when we get the majority back, we start asking the tough questions that need to be asked. There needs to be oversight in this country. Betty and Libby and I were out going door to door in Tell City the other day, and I was sending this message to somebody in Tell City who was kind of on the fence. No, it's actually Jasper where we were. I've been to so many places I can't even remember where I am. It's nice to be here in Ellisville. But we were going door to door, and I pitched this same thing I'm pitching to you to this person who was sitting on the fence. And as we left that house, I told Betty, or I told Libby, I said, you know what, Libby? I'm not kidding about this anymore. This is not political gamesmanship we're talking about here. This is not just rhetoric. The stakes are high, folks, in this race. And that's where you come in and why you are so important in this. I've done all I can do. I've raised the money. I'm on television. I've worked my fingers to the bone for the last 6 months. It really comes down to you, folks. And that's the reason why I wanted to come here to tell you how important you really are to this campaign. You get out this vote, and we're not only going to get me into the House of Representatives, but you're going to change the face of this country. And I mean it. Let me thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you have done. But we're not finished. We still have 48 hours. So it's early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize, and we're going to sing Happy Days Are Here again on November the 7th. How you doing?